African news update on Top Accolade News. The headlines: Moses Kuria crushes Aden Duale over Mount Kenya remarks. Uganda opens first large-scale gold mine. Harare vendors defy government ban on second-hand clothes. South Africa slams U.S. human rights report as biased and inaccurate. We'll start with the focus in politics. Moses Kuria cautions Aden Duale over Mount Kenya remarks. Former Public Service CS Moses Kuria has warned Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale against remarks suggesting that the Mount Kenya community views itself as superior. Kuria accused Duale and other Rift Valley leaders of promoting rhetoric that fuels ethnic divisions, insisting he would resist what he described as collective punishment for an entire community. He said such statements threaten national stability and could lead to unintended consequences. Duale had said no community in Kenya is superior under the current constitution, pointing at former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's political stance. He argued that President Ruto's leadership is focused on uniting Kenyans beyond tribal lines. The exchange underscores growing political friction within the ruling coalition as leaders trade words over ethnicity and national cohesion. Shifting focus to economy. Uganda opens first large-scale gold mine. Uganda has inaugurated its first large-scale gold mine, a $250 million Chinese-owned project in Busia district. President Museveni said the Wagagi gold mining project, which will refine bullion to 99.9% purity, marks a major step in adding value to the country's mineral wealth. The plant is expected to process 5,000 tons of ore daily and produce 1.2 metric tons of refined gold annually, far surpassing last year's national output of just 0.0042 tons. Gold has become Uganda's leading export, earning $3.4 billion in 2023, though the figure includes re-exports. Museveni said revenue from the mine will help fund power projects and a $3.1 billion standard gauge railway linking Uganda to Kenya, reducing transport costs for imports and exports. Officials believe the project will elevate Uganda's position in Africa's gold market, though it still trails Ghana, the top continent's top producer. Still in economy. Harare vendors defy government ban on second-hand clothes. In Harare, desperate vendors have defied a government directive banning the importation and the sale of second-hand clothes, choosing instead to continue trading on the streets, especially at night when officials are absent. Many said the collapse of Zimbabwe's economy have left them with no choice, with graduates and unemployed citizens relying on vending to survive. Local government minister Daniel Gawi insists the ban must be enforced, ordering councils nationwide to clear vendors by December. He argues street and night vending damage the cotton industry, fuel drug abuse, and tarnish the country's image. But vendors says without jobs and basic necessities, tough directive will only worsen their struggles. Moving to international relations. South Africa slams U.S. human rights reports as biased and inaccurate. South Africa's Department of International Relations has dismissed the latest U.S. human rights report as inaccurate and biased, accusing Washington of distorting the country's constitutional reality. The 21-page report alleged worsening abuse in South Africa, but officials says it relied on discredited accounts, pointed instead to America's own human rights challenges. Analysts says the clash highlight growing tension between Pretoria and Washington, already strained by South Africa's ICJ case against Israel and past U.S. policy disputes. You're watching the African News Update on Top Accolade News. Do stay with us. Still to come. Thanks for staying with us. Still in international relations, Congo rejects Kenya's appointment of Consul General to Goma. The Congolese government has strongly rejected Kenya's appointment of a consul general to Goma, calling the move inappropriate and a violation of sovereignty. Kinshasa said the decision made without prior consultation risks legitimizing the M23 rebel group that seized the city earlier this year. The Rwandan-backed rebels have captured swaths of territory in eastern Congo, displacing thousands and attempting to install a parallel administration. Officials warn that Nairobi's unilateral step undermines international law and could damage regional peace initiatives. Analysts says the appointment may deepen Congo's distrust of Kenya, which has grown closer to Rwanda under President William Ruto, and further complicate already fragile mediation efforts aimed at ending decades of conflict in eastern DRC. Now in conflict, Sudanese army accused of torture. A leading Sudanese human rights group has accused the country's army and security forces of running execution chambers and torturing detainees to death in Khartoum. Emergency lawyers said it has documented hundreds of arbitrary arrests since the army recaptured the city from the Rapid Support Forces in March, adding that some captives were later found dead with signs of torture. The army has not responded to the allegations. The group warned a dangerous escalation in violence, noting detainees face inhumane conditions, sham trials, or release in poor health. Both the Sudanese army and the RSF has been accused of atrocities during the 2-year war, which has displaced over 12 million people and triggered famine in parts of the country. The UN says both sides are responsible for torture, arbitrary detention, and sexual violence. Turning to entertainment. TG Omori decries cost of dialysis in Nigeria. Nigerian music video director TG Omori, popularly known as Boy Director, has lamented the soaring cost of dialysis in Nigeria, describing it as hopeless for the ordinary citizen. In the post on X, Omori said the cost is more than 100,000 naira per session, with some patients needing at least 3 weekly, far above the new national minimum wage of 70,000 naira. Recalling his own failed kidney transplant in 2024, the 30-year-old filmmaker broke down over the harsh reality, saying the system leaves little chance for survival for those who cannot afford treatment. Now in sports, Uganda-South Africa set for Kampala clash. Uganda sits top in their group with 6 points and need just a draw in Kampala to progress, while South Africa, trailing by 1 on 4 points, must win to survive. Ugandan coach says his side are ready to make history, but Bafana Bafana coach Molefi Nseki insists the pressure lies with the hosts in a clash set to be decided by pride, progress and resilience before a charged Kampala crowd. That concludes our African News Update for today. Stay tuned for more African news and developments. Thanks for joining us. I am Ojorumi Okocha. Connect and engage with us on all our social media handles. Do have a wonderful day.